translate can use the camera on your phone to translate in time. Sounds neat, and at the same time it sounds like, oh dear, Finnish products are gonna get some epic translations.
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
You're finally awake.
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
It is fine, you slept like 3 days. Right. You're doing pretty well. Making oatmeal before you go donate plasma. How are you? Happy to hear. Wait, where are your... Like, if you don't mind me asking, didn't you have the date recently? How did it
How's
go?
our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't
Me, I'm
reported
okay.
your disappearance to the force.
Just
but
tired,
that'll
super
come soon.
tired.
Bradley?
I haven't been able to sleep.
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
I saw people in hoods. They had stolen Mrs. Hawkins' paintings.
Who are you talking about? Why would they do such a thing?
I don't know, but they were a threat. They've taken over the caves under the mansion. They were performing some kind of ritual. One of the entryways was under Charles Hawkins' office.
We suspect Mr. Hawkins of being involved.
My patients believe the old islanders used to worship primitive sea gods. Could they be the focus of the cult?
Am I
Yes,
hearing
Friday
this
night
right?
through Saturday
So you
morning.
think me gullible?
It went pretty well. You had
No,
dinner at an Indian
not at all.
restaurant and you stayed
What else
in
did
one
you
of
uncover, Mr. Pierce?
at one of the hotels. You had breakfast at a Waffle House next morning. Oh. Actually sounds really good. Happy to hear.
I met a Francis Sanders.
How are you feeling
know
afterwards?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and
Yes.
that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
I didn't see what, but something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis
Coincidence?
Sanders was a
I
well-known
think
art
not.
collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say?
Oh, Ravas!
That's probably how they met.
Ravas. How do we
plan on having
make
dinner
the
at the
Iron
Sanders
Sanders to crack?
Please spare the
There was
reader the
achievement.
tale of her late husband's suffering.
I
Push
don't agree.
Iron Sanders
She
to the
deserves
limit.
the
How do
truth.
we do that?
But
Also,
that
welcome
truth
back,
may be
Radix.
biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
You're right. Without a plausible
What is that
explanation
called?
for what I saw,
The achievement is
let's not jump to
called
conclusions.
Shared
That seems
Guilt.
wise indeed.
Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
Also, HD does this. What now? Well, fuck, you'll end up wherever you want. Thank you very much. We'll go to hospital if we want to go to hospital. Now we're in chapter 6. Sanity. At 480 at work. Look good, even your bot, I don't know, it's... Aww. Thank you.
The other night's events are still confused in my head.
Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
Old whiskey. Obligatory queen compliments in Finnish. Pierce, Golden, and Bradley decided to team up to solve the Sarah Hawkins case. They have a new trial to follow. Francis Sanders, an art collector and friend of the painter who died right in front of Pierce. The detective goes to his house in order to speak to his widow about Sampler. That's the unfortunate man mentioned before he died. Okay, this trophy spans across 3 chapters. In chapter 6, make sure that you blame Irene for her husband's death by choosing the options. After you're done talking with her, go to the recording room and play it for her in the recording. Does this sound make her feel guilty for his death? Make sure her response for you is the same. In chapter 8, you will be a doctor. Go to Irene's bed and look at her chart and her body. You'll notice that she is now deceased. In chapter 10, you will be locked in a prison. The officer charts will start talking to you. After a while, he will tell you that you were the last visit Irene and that whatever you said to her caused her to commit suicide. You've done everything else correctly, then once that is saved, your trophy as will unlock. Okay, that's gonna be annoying. You still only know so much Finnish, so you just keep making the same compliments. You need to learn more to keep it fresh.
I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may.
Okay, now we just need to hope that it doesn't go on top of the cult thing.
That is precisely what brings me here.
So we have to break someone's will. Yeah, the another achievement we need to get is the rats in the walls.
You know
which
each
is
other.
basically we need to punch
We met
somebody.
briefly. Time enough to iron out a few matters. The main thing is that we understood one another. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired
Pretty
you?
much pick the bottom
I
right
spoke to
option in
Francis
every
before
conversation
he
with
died.
her. Okay.
His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me.
You have a question? Do ask.
May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
Dun, dun, dun.
I expected to find you more grief-stricken than this by the death of your husband.
And don't
I
forget
do
to
not
play
like
her
the
that
tone
recording.
of
Okay.
your illusion, sir. I had long months to weep every tear in my body, and to accept, if not my fate,
Very supposed to.
at least that
Go
of
to
my
the-
husband.
It's
So
a
I'm sorry to
recording and play
disappoint
it
you
for
if you're expecting more hysteria and
for her
grieving
in the
widow of
recorder.
my voice.
Okay.
Rest assured, however, my anger is real. I need to understand. could this happen? In a reputed institute. And right before your eyes. Did you not do anything to help him?
With all due respect, Mrs. Sanders, it was you who sent him to this asylum, not me.
How dare you? What was I supposed to do, Detective? Upon seeing such a brilliant mind disintegrate in this way.
What is
waking
that
with a
other
start
achievement
every
called?
night with
Rats,
him
rats.
shrieking in horror,
Um,
petrified before this accursed painting, unable to
The
look
rats
away,
in the walls.
until he managed to gouge his eyes out with his own hands. I should have listened to Dr. Fuller, let him intern him months ago. If I am to be condemned, it is because I did not act sooner.
I'm not here to condemn you, Mrs. Sanders.
Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
No, it has to be only total live viewership. So the people who are watching you. Raids and hosts don't count it as far as I know.
I deduce that your husband
right, okay.
already mentioned this dimensional shambler.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it...
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
Record. Where the fuck is record? Find a record.
Did she really care for him after all?
Dear Madam, I acknowledge the receipt of the letter in which you demand the body of your deceased husband. I'm sorry to inform you that I cannot agree to return his body to you. At the moment of his interment, you signed discharge allowing me to dispose of his body as I see fit. I extend my deepest condolences to you. Thomas Furler. The Rats in the Walls one is chapter 11. All the games you'd want to play seem to support it on Linux. Oh! The second volume in the series covers everything from gas gangrene to transniferous. In addition to precise and detailed study, the book presents some avant-garde theories. The incredible complexity of this book reserves it for medical experts. Then you have to choose what to do. Choose a beat, one them up in order to obtain this trophy. Okay. Hi bad boy, how are you today? Okay, so for there.
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
Also, Revas, there is the piano.
Irene, I made a mistake.
Is it something
I
that we are
fear
supposed to
that it might be
press
too late
in the
for me.
correct order or something?
Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelid.
Let's beat it.
Each time I shut my eyes. I can't take anymore. I can't hold him back.
Had a bit of skeleton left. Went to your mom's house, and when you pulled up, she was running from a dog.
I should
Never
never
inside,
let
she
them
was
take
curious,
you
but then
away.
you started joking.
What have I done?
Is she okay?
Everything is my fault.
Nope, nobody mentioned anything about a piano.
Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection, or was he seeking
Fuck!
to acquire it?
Art and mysticism. Forgotten Objects in a Collection written by Francis Sanders. In it, he catalogs and categorizes objects from all ages and origins that are linked to occult or mystical practice. It is open at the base of a dagger that bears a symbol that is not unknown to me. Because I was listening to the voice recorder, and there is a part where it plays as part of a song, and I was like, wait, that has to be something, and then the piano has that. So yeah, awesome! I did not know there is
the
that thing.
Shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
I'm actually happy now. That's fucking cool. That is so fucking cool.
Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even? Sanders' accession register.
You liking this,
He wrote
yeah?
beside the Shambler. Finally. What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting? He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom? She first refused to sell the painting. How did that make her feel? Was she jealous of Sarah Hawkins? A house of artists. A house of artists. The Shambler. I need to see it.
Examiner Shambler. Is this before we go there? We need to get to the another as well. Very nice, ritualistic eye couching.
A strange Amerindian pendant.
An ancient amulet, probably Amerindian. I wonder what its purpose could be. The Whale and the Cod, or A Brief History of Darkwater, by Irvine Greenmouth. It is focused on the past glory of the island.
I could use one of those.
I found these sleeping pills in the Sanders house, where they prescribed to Francis Sanders or to Irene.
Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Dear Francis, I beg you to give up all hope or even owning this accursed painting. If our friendship has any meaning for you, please spare me the weight of guilt. I cannot be architect of your fall. I beg you, my dear friend, forget the Shambler. Your friend Sarah Hawkins.
Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
This volume spends some time on the Reverend Woodwood's community. His wife expresses her worries about the strange dreams that the Reverend's congregation are having since their arrival on the island. Some members of the community, her husband included, began to speak of their vision as a messenger sent by God. She is scared that they will suffer the same fate as the lost tribe. It is the work of a student in a book form. Although the observations are relevant, they lack the experience and experience decision. However, the question asked allows us to imagine new ways exploring human anatomy. Lore looks fucking cool. Would you read the book? It is kind of an encyclopedia of monsters and unknown creatures. I'm beginning to believe they exist. Diary? Okay. Lovely. We know many things, it seems. Many. Right.
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
I'm not here to cause trouble, if that's what's worrying you.
Worry me? Don't overestimate yourself. If the last beating wasn't enough for you, I can always give it another go. But as long as you keep out of my way, you're free to carry on with your visit.
I found this drawing of a dagger. Did you come across anything like it in your reading?
Perhaps. I saw several daggers in the ledgers. I could always check. What I didn't find, however, was the slightest reason why I should help you,
Big
Detective.
oof.
I don't need your services. I can manage all on my own, thanks.
Do it then.
And big oof. I don't actually want to go here. First of all, the dagger, how does it look like? Okay, I need to remember it before I go forward, because it is easier if I just run through it. And I know exactly what to do. It could be that one.
Why was he so interested in old weapons?
Yeah, I think it's actually that one. So most far away. Here. Okay. No one wants to go there. For a reason. For a fucking reason. This place is disgusting. Mwah. Like, they are cool daggers.
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times.
The room itself is beautiful and all that. I just... That looks familiar. Happen to hate this specific room. Always the same one. Thankfully, it's not orange. It would be hell if it spawned on different case every time. Yeah. It's just like I
The
really
man transformed an
just
entire
want to
wing of
get
his
over
manor
with this
into an
is,
art gallery.
Also, I don't remember, was it that we can run it or we can't run it? Fascinating man just wants to shamble his way into your heart.
What the hell was that?
Yeah, so I don't think we can, well, we could try. Do we want to run? Okay, at least we can skip it. This makes me feel like I'm in the wrong side. Okay, we got the skills. If I don't see it, it doesn't see me, right?
Damn. This dagger looks different.
Yeah, seems like you can run it. Okay. Thanks for the Chi-Chi. But I can say, like, if you don't, what kind of dagger you need to go, that is quite a painful, because then you just try all the daggers and hope that you get the right one.
What's the matter with you? You sure you won't be needing that hand? You're losing it, Detective. At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before I do.
You didn't see anything.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something more interesting?
Sanders was right. This painting is cursed.
What are you talking about?
I was attacked by a creature. I pushed it back, I think.
I think so too.
You knew. You knew about the beast.
What are you talking about?
Hi,
Think
Pannuka
yourself lucky that I
Kunkavalus,
saved
how
your
are you
hand,
today?
even if it was to save my goods.
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. I'm talking about the contents of this gallery. And by the way, where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It
Doing good,
saved
happy
my
to hear.
life. It's
I'm
an
okay.
extraordinary dagger.
You should talk
Tired?
to Algernon
Nothing
Drake.
new?
He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
This symbol on the dagger, it was all over Sanders' cell. It's what protected him. It's what protected me, too. If Hawkins was trying to get rid of this shambler, she might have made contact with Drake. This antique dealer has a good knowledge of the occult. I have nothing to lose by meeting him.
You've got your spunk back. Go where you want. I'm staying here to talk business with Irene.
I always wanted to play this one. Oh, really? You recommend it. It has its moments. Oh, look at that. Skeleton! Yeah, it has its moments. Of course, some of the things are not as great as others, but I did like it. I liked the graphics and how green it is, and the voice actors. The sampler turned out to be much more than an artwork painted by Sarah Hawkins, as a huge creature came out of the painting to attack Pierce. After a hard fight, the detective managed to send it back into the painting. He later discovered that the dagger he used to repel the creature had been sold to Sanders by a man named Algernon Drake, owner of the nameless bookstore. Pierce decides to pay the library a visit. The Discord Alfred's former employer, yes.
Where's the bookseller? Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
The pastor declared himself to be prophet. He renounced God and worshipped a strange pagan entity with a monstrous appearance. His wife tried to reason with her husband, but in vain. He was convinced that he must listen to this voice in his head because it holds the truth. In the 19th century, as the American whaling industry reached its peak in the rest of the world, whales gradually disappeared from the water surrounding dark water. This phenomenon appears even more mysterious because up till then the region was favored refuge for cetaceans. In 1847, after months of pursuit, Scylla returns to port with gigantic creature on board. Its crew asserts that the sea monster had eaten all the disappeared whales. After a night of ferocious combat, the survivors managed to drag the beast onto the whaling ship.